Good morning, crew. Dave's here. Jeffrey and Bryce are here. Bryce is trying to put his Lego set together. It takes him about a half an hour to set up a bench. Remember, don't use the word retarded. Only call your friends that act retarded, retarded. Now that being said, had a
Mike, did you notice he does the exact same weight as your 5-year-old son?
it's not fair though to say that. My son's on so much stuff.
Yeah, he's on so much juice. Like,
Bryce is a natty.
yeah.
So Mark Bell left a message, and I agree with the 20-year-olds. The guy that's dieting at 15 to 2,000 and doing the workouts and the cardio to get sliced probably is not going to look as good and not give as much energy as the guy that's eating 3,000.
Not even.
Both in a deficit.
Not even.
Okay. So if to be a bodybuilder, we all agree that the 3,000 guy, they're both in a deficit. Just go with that. The 3,000 guy is probably going to get better workouts, probably going to retain more muscle mass.
Yeah.
Is there any benefit for the other guy that's doing the 1,500 to 2,000, doing the same workouts as the other guy, cardio and everything, maybe not retaining as much because he's just not taking in the calories, and he's probably not burning as much because his workouts aren't as intense. Is there any benefit from the other guy?
So yeah, I was going to ask you, so when you're doing a set, is it fair to say that you get the most benefit out of your last couple of reps? So if I'm going to do 10 or whatever, those last reps are just really burning you out, or are you getting equal benefit to all the reps throughout the entire set?
Yeah, Mike, fuck your question. Answer that one.
That's great.
I think I can answer that one.
Go for it.
I think if you're rushing through the set until you're burning out and then focused on your last reps because you're really struggling, then they count. But if you're in it from the first and just keeping that tension and like posture and like your whole body connected to it, then every rep counts.
So that's what I was going to ask you. Your question, if you have more calories in the system and you actually have more energy to carry that all the way out, do you actually get a more efficient downslope burn as opposed to just dropping off because you have no fucking calories and therefore you have a more muscular strain? Because you have
I
extra
see.
calories.
That was
That's
good.
what
That
I'm
was,
asking.
It was like an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah, it is. That was nice. That was
So
nice.
if I only have
So,
15
because he's not taking as much, is his body taxed out to the same level as the other guy?
Right.
Studies show that's not true. The guy that's eating the more calories and getting the better intensity workout is going to retain more muscle, feed more body, and get more. Now, I do like your approach because I think the point of my discussion was if you're always, and you keep track of it too, blood work, right? So the kid that's 30 years old and he's got his A1C and it's that accumulation of carbohydrates for those 3 months and it's just ugly markers, where the other guy that's eating a good amount of calories, 15 to 2,000, let's say hypothetically, he's a healthy person, he's older, his blood markers might look better. I think the approach though is mentally to be able to function like we did today on absolutely nothing that I'm doing food-wise.
Yes.
So I'm at the stage where I do the food to test, and so I'm not taking it. So if I can do that on a 6-inch platform, that much, and those many reps, what does it do? Maybe not to the body, but to the mind. And it goes back to our statement the other day where I said, good, this is the best thing for you to do. No, the best thing for you to do is not get injured.
Right.
I mean, that's the first thing. Let's just jump all the way back to the fact that you guys are saying how to build muscle and stuff like that. It's like, don't get injured first and set yourself up. And so I think there's a mindset to those guys that do go over diet.
Yeah, because you can even look at it. So if you have a caloric deficient, like you were talking about, 1,500 as opposed to 3,000, you got to change your brain chemistry. With that, your motivation, your energy level, all that sort of stuff is going to drop. So there is a point of mental discipline in there. Like I know I have a deficiency, but fuck it, I need to get in there and get that job done easier. However, that chemistry is still going to change when you have 3,000. So you're going to have more energy, you're going to have more determination, you're going to have more focus, all those sorts of chemical benefits when you have a larger caloric intake like the 3,000. So you can very well get a more powerful workout on the same thing. Just by
I agree, because it's like when we fast and stuff, And we still go in and we train the same exact way.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. When you do a fast, I guess they call it now a water fast. We're gonna do a water
Oh, you gotta
fast.
specify
You got to
now?
specify.
Got it.
Yeah, this is so many
Disclaimer.
levels. Yeah.
Fasting is
Um,
fasting anymore. For sure.
So I'll do that, and I'll go in. I won't change anything. I won't change my cardio intake, ab work, training. All of it stays the same. But I just know the fact. It's like martial arts. You weigh in. Look at Paulo, weighs in at 185. And if I can move around and get down to 185 and move around, what will I do when I feed myself and weigh 220?
Right.
Holy sheesh, that's the best analogy I could make with the statement is there's a benefit to both. If you want to be a bodybuilder, yeah, stay with the higher calories, eat your food, do that stuff. You want to stay training for a lifetime, test yourself. Absolutely test yourself.
I used to love to watch this during SEAL team selection where we would see that sort of stuff. You could see it on distance runs.
A question before you go into that. When you ate to go into SEAL training, like those days, the early mornings, the late nights, how many times did you eat during that day?
During buds, we were realistically, no exaggeration, taking in probably more than 10,000 a day.
So they would feed you.
Oh yeah, that was the one thing that they actually didn't do during buds. You do that during SEER training and like survival training and all that sort of stuff. Later on, you go into where you don't eat for literally 5 days at a time and shit like that. And, you know,
Then they
it's-
test your mindset.
Right, exactly. And you can go into complete starvation while you're still in the woods. You're doing all that sort of stuff, but you don't have the same level of physical exertion like you do in buds.
Okay, so incorporate the two, because you said something to Jeff, I think it was, last week, or we were with somebody. You go, it's not about that you can do all these things, it's that you can do all those things, still be functional, and be in charge of a situation.
You're not
And
just
it was
trying
like
to
you had-
survive the
you-
situation, you're dominating.
Maybe Goodrich?
Maybe it was it Goodrich that was with us when you said that?
Sounds like that conversation.
Because there was a point that you go, I just got to make it through. I just got to lift up the log. I just got to hold the boat, and
Right.
whatever, all that stuff. And it's like, no,
No.
that's just us to mess you emotionally and physically up, and then see if you can still function mentally.
You could actually, and that's 100%. That's one of the big differences between that they specifically look for when you're going in any sort of special forces, right? You're not here to survive. You're here to dominate. And you can look at that same correlation into life.
Difference.
You look at that correlation into life. How many people do you know that are just trying to survive fucking life? They're just trying to get through the moment. They're just trying to. And the problem when you do that, survival is inherently a victim mentality. They're just going, it's like turtling up and just sitting there saying, don't hurt me, let me get through this moment, like, as opposed to saying, fuck you, I'm here to win. And yes, this situation sucks, but I'm aggressive. You know, it's like the same thing with jiu-jitsu. You know, the big difference between, I just don't want to get killed as opposed to I'm defeating you. It's a huge mentality shift, and that's critical.
Can I add on that?
You go.
So John Danaher has this this philosophy of, especially in jiu-jitsu, when you're in a inferior position, you're losing. A majority, like 90 to 99% of people, will spend X amount of energy to get to a neutral position where they feel comfortable again, where they feel safe. Where if you use the same amount of energy, you could go from a defensive to an offensive position.
Yep.
They're just trying to get safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just an emotional, right?
It's an emotional concept of like, oh, like you're smashing me. Let me get back to guard where I'm like, okay, I have a second to.
Let me take a second.
But that same amount of energy that you use to get to that safe place, you could use to get to an inferior position, into a dominant position.
So we talk about that mentality a lot of times. We used to talk about it again in the teams with things like doing combatives, room clearings, different sorts of stuff like that. And back when we used to have different sorts of terrorist events or shooting events and things like that, the whole idea of winning, and I'm not giving the idea of being a victim, hiding, any of these sorts of things, as opposed to being proactive. The irony is that our brains are so fear-driven, people think that hiding and turtling up is actually a safe because it feels good, as opposed to the reality is the best way to be safe is to be aggressive and actually take charge of the situation, because when you are just being defensive, inherently what you're doing is waiting to die. You're just holding back and hoping that the other person doesn't do anything, rather than saying, I'm taking charge of this, and I'm doing it on my terms. Always 1,000% safer to do.
So yeah, that's how many calories I'm eating a day.
So that's it. That's the calories.
Sorry.
No, it's good. No, it was great.
So one of the things, like on the running, right? So
Overhand, up top. Overhand, yeah. Let it come forward.
So we go out and you do these runs, and there is methodology to both, right? Like let's say I'm going to go do a 6 mile run for speed on the beach, right? And I'm going to do it with a caloric deficiency. My time is just not going to be as fucking good as it was if I was pumped up on a ton of calories and had all the energy, right?
Right.
There is a mental drive to sit there, even though my time is going to decrease because I just don't have the energy, I don't have the gas.
That's what we did today. Keep going, keep going.
There's a mental point of fortitude and suffering to sit there and go, I feel like absolute shit. Because it's easy to do this shit when
So
you
you
feel
push
good.
yourself harder?
Absolutely. Because it's easy to do shit when you feel good. Again, when we're in selection, it's easy to get through any sort of difficult stuff when you're rested, when you're in a good mood, when you have all your food. Like anybody can do that. The real challenge is when you're fucking tired and you're over it and you're scared and you're cold and you're hungry. Can you then pull out the mental
I don't know if we
fortitude to get it done
videoed it,
anyway?
but, well, we videoed the lifts.
Yeah.
But I said to Jeff, when I said, let's put a quarter on, the point, Jeff made a joke about food intake. And the point I added the extra weight was the point I didn't have food. And it was irritating me. And so I said, you know what? Not today. I don't care that I'm in that much of a deficit. I don't care that I don't feel. I'm going to go more. And it was a nasty fight, but it was the best fight I had today. That was
moment?
a moment in that lift where I lost balance and this and that, and I just go, I don't care.
At least you can lay down on the flight.
That's true. It's true. But so his point was actually what we did in the deadlifts today because of the food intake and how we feel. We said, no, we're going to go over and we did an extra 100 pounds on our rep
Yeah.
range. It's just like,
Well,
we
we're gonna do
said,
that one in.
forget that last week. We added 100 to it and did our reps. So it was like, it was nice. It's such a difference.
Huge. Huge. It's easy to do this shit when it's easy, right?
But if these 20-year-olds use that information,
Yeah.
oh, they're savages. Like this guy's a little kid.
Yeah. He's a beast.
And he's out there rolling with these other guys. Get one set of bent
Yep.
overs. B, let's go quarter.
Quarter. We're on the floor.
No one knew who I was until I put on the shirt.
Ooh! Hey, what do you guys think of these shirts? Shoo! And we got one more. It says, "Stop bullying me. I'm gonna come."
I hold that one.
Nice, good. You guys, it is Memorial Day. We'll probably get this up this week. Yeah, we're gonna go up heavier.